right, let's dive into a simple, but honestly, a really powerful idea. Integers. And trust me, this isn't going to be some dry math lesson. Nope. This is about finding a better way to describe the world all around us, from the weather outside to what's happening in our bank accounts. Let's get right into it. You've definitely seen this, right? A chilly day, you check the weather, and you see that little minus sign sitting in front of the number. But have you ever stopped to think, what does that really mean? I mean, how can you have less than 0 of something? Our good old counting numbers, well, they just don't have an answer for that.
And hey, it's not just about the weather. Think about it. A football team gets a penalty and loses points. Or you look at your bank account and see a withdrawal. How do we talk about a loss or a debt using numbers? Our basic 1, 2, 3 just can't quite capture it. It's a puzzle, so let's solve it.
Okay, so to really get a grip on where we're headed, we need to take a quick look back at the numbers we already know. You know, the foundation that everything else is built on. First up, we have what are called natural numbers. These are the very first numbers we learn as kids, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, on and on forever. They're perfect for counting things you can actually touch, like apples or books. But notice what's missing. There are no negatives, and there isn't even a 0. So the next logical step was to add a way to represent, well, nothing. And that gives us the whole numbers. It's super simple. You just take all those natural numbers we just talked about and you add one more thing to the set, the number 0. It seems like such a tiny change, just adding one number. But believe me, it was a massive leap forward. All right, so now our toolbox has positive numbers and it has 0. But we still can't solve those problems from the beginning, can we? The chilly weather, the lost points, we're still stuck. Well, it's time for the big reveal. And this is the big question, the one that changes everything. If we can move forward from 0, 1, 2, 3, then what's stopping us from moving backward? What's on the other side of 0? And boom, here's our answer. Integers. This is the whole shebang. This set includes all the whole numbers, that's 0 and all the positives, but here's the kicker. They also include their direct opposites, the negative numbers. So for every positive number, like 1, 2, or 3, there's a negative counterpart. You know, this idea of opposites is the absolute key to the whole thing. Just picture a number line, with 0 sitting right in the middle. The number 3 is 3 steps over to the right. Well, its opposite, -3, is the exact same distance away, but to the left. They're like perfect mirror images of each other. This one idea unlocks everything. Okay, awesome. Now we have the tool we were missing, so let's circle back to those puzzles from the start and see how integers just knock them out of the park. So remember that freezing cold morning? That -5 degrees Celsius isn't some weird abstract concept anymore. It just means it's 5 degrees below the 0-degree freezing point. That little minus sign, that integer, gives us a super precise and clear way to describe it. See? Problem solved? Simple. And what about that football team? Instead of having to say they lost 3 points, we can just say their score changed by -3. That minus sign instantly tells us the direction of the change. It went down. It's just clean. It's simple. It tells you everything you need to know in one little symbol. And of course, this works perfectly with money, right? If you get $10, that's a positive 10. If you spend $10 or lose it, that's a negative 10. Integers give us this really simple, universal language for talking about money, showing both gains and losses with total clarity. So let's pull back for a second and just visualize how this whole system fits together. We started out with just simple counting, and now we've built something way more powerful. This little chart here really lays it all out beautifully. You can see the evolution, right? We started with the natural numbers just for counting. Then we added 0 to the mix to create the whole numbers. And finally, the big step, we added all the negative opposites to get the complete set of integers. Each step just gives us more power to describe our world. So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? It's that integers complete the picture. They give us the language we need for any idea that has 2 opposite directions from some central point. You know, hot and cold, profit and loss, going up versus going down. They're absolutely essential for describing the world the way we actually live in it. And, you know, that kind of leaves us with a really cool final thought. Creating integers, that wasn't some endpoint. It was a response to a need to describe our world more accurately. Kind of makes you wonder, right? What other ideas or concepts are out there right now, just waiting for us to invent a whole new kind of number to finally understand them? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.